Hey guys, welcome back. If you want to see how I created this creaseless, flawless base, keep on watching. Now we're gonna start off with priming. You need to prime your skin, and primer should always come after you have done your skincare. So as usual, I'm using my favorite primer, the Milk Hydro Grip Primer. A very good dupe is the e.l.f. Power Grip Primer, which works the same as this one. I really love them. Now I'm gonna use my foundation. I like a soft matte base because I am oily. So this foundation is full coverage, it's lightweight, and it's soft matte. So it's gonna give me the perfect base. You need to go for a foundation that works for your skin type. So if you're oily, go for a foundation that has a matte finish. If you are dry, go for a moisturizing or a hydrating foundation, which is going to sit on your skin flawlessly. As you can see, I am buffing my foundation in with a brush. I feel like this gives me the best coverage and it just makes my foundation look streakless and flawless. I of course make sure that I'm covering all the ground on my face to make sure that the foundation is evenly spread on my skin, and I am using this brush from Real Techniques. So I like to go in with a damp sponge after I have finished blending my foundation in, and I'm going to go all over my face with the sponge, just bouncing it off, picking up any excess product and blending if I didn't do the blending well with the brush. So I'm more of a brush and a sponge girl. This is how I get my base to look flawless. For concealer, I'm going to use the Too Faced Born This Way concealer in the shade Butterscotch. I'm going to place that under my eyes, on my mustache area, my chin, the bridge of my nose, and my forehead. And I'm going to allow that to sit while I go ahead and apply my cream bronzer. This is the TANTOUR bronzer from HUDA Beauty. I'm going to apply that onto the high points of my cheekbones, my temples, and forehead. And I'm going to put that at the sides of the bridge of my nose, just below my eyebrows, so that I'm gonna blend it downwards. I also put a little bit of concealer at the base of my lips. It's gonna give my contour a lifted look later. You guys are gonna see how it works out. I filmed a detailed contour and highlights video. I'm gonna put that up there so you guys can check it out. So now this is me buffing my cream contour into my skin with a brush. I really love to use these Real Techniques brushes because they blend amazing and they are long lasting and affordable. Now I'm going to go ahead and blend my concealer into my skin. Again, I am using a brush. I feel like using a brush helps me to control the product placement, and it just gives me the most flawless finish. Now, if you're not a brush girl, you can always go ahead with your sponge, but I feel like using a brush before using a sponge just makes the makeup look good. There's just something about it. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and buff all the concealer into my skin with my brush. Most of you have been asking me where this brush is from. It is from Color Box Cosmetics, a Ghanaian brand. I'm gonna link it down below for you guys. They have a website that you can easily order from, and I'm pretty sure that they ship worldwide. So you guys can go ahead and get your hands on this brush because, as you can see, it is blending everything flawlessly. When you turn me off, you know I'm slow. As you can see, the brush is giving me control over where my product sits. The product isn't straying just everywhere on my face. It's just going everywhere I want the products to go. So now I'm going back in with my damp sponge just to do some extra blending and to pick up any excess product. The sponge has a way of sucking up any excesses, and it has a way of just making the blend just a little bit more subtle. I feel like using a brush before a sponge just makes it look better. I've said this so many times. And to have a flawless base, I keep going back and forth with my brushes. As you can see, I'm going back to blur out the harsh lines between the contour and the highlights with my contour brush, and I'm going back with my foundation to do same. I'm gonna go in with a second concealer. You guys know that I like a bright under eye when I'm doing full glam. Of course, this is very optional, so I just allow the concealer to sit while I go ahead and apply my cream blush from ELF. I just recently got this cream blush in the shade Bora Bora, and I am obsessed with it. It has a very soft baby pink hue to it. As you can see, it's on my skin and it's just super soft. So I'm just blending that in with a brush again while the concealer is marinating under my eyes. I'm gonna go ahead and buff the concealer in with a sponge this time, just because I don't want a very full coverage and I just want the concealer to be as soft as possible. I don't want a very bright under eye, but I want a touch of a bright under eye. I hope it makes sense. Hopefully in my next video I'll be showing you guys how to get a very bright under eye if that's what you want, but I like a bright under eye but not too bright. I hope it makes sense. So as you can see, using a sponge just makes it look super simple and super muted and super airbrushed. I know that you guys probably thought I forgot to blend out my nose contour, but I didn't. It's often the last step that I find brings everything together. So yeah, I'm using my brush to just bring it down the sides of the bridge of my nose, and I'm going right below my brow before I bring it down the sides. Of course, I'm going back in with a sponge to blend out any harsh lines, and again with my two brushes, foundation and contour brushes that I used earlier, just to make sure all the harsh lines are blurred out. I'm going in with my MERCIER translucent powder to set wherever I applied concealer to. I'm also using a powder puff, but before I do that, I iron out any creases with a sponge. The sponge that I've been using just before I set. To avoid creasing, you need to set as soon as you iron out the creases, because creases come about because of the cream products we apply onto the fine lines on our faces. So you definitely have to iron out the creases with a sponge or a brush, whatever works for you. And as soon as you iron out the creases or the crease, you need to push powder in there to set that cream in place. That's personally how I avoid creases. So I'm going in with the powder wherever I crease. Wherever I crease is the place that I set with powder first, so my smile lines, my under eye area, and then I'm gonna go all over with powder everywhere else on my face. So I'm just doing a little bit of reverse contouring, pushing the powder in there to make sure that the powder keeps the cream products in place. I'm also going in with my pressed powder from LA Pro. This is very close to my skin tone, and I just push it all over my face to set my foundation and to make sure that nothing is moving on my skin. If you have oily skin, make sure to use a pressed powder and a big powder brush to push powder into your foundation to set it in place. For contour or bronzer, I'm using one from Tilbury. This is in the shade Tan 3, and I am going all over the places that I apply my cream bronzer or cream contour to, and I'm just pushing that in there to set that area as well. I also go onto my jawline and chin and the sides of the bridge of my nose. Now I'm going in with just a little bit of powder to clean up the sides of the bridge of my nose, and I'm going to do a little bit of reverse contouring just to lift my cheekbones up. I really like doing this step. It just makes my makeup look so good. I'm obsessed with it. So I'm just dusting off the powder with my setting brush from Real Techniques, and I'm blending the rest of my face in with a big brush. And this is an extra step. I'm just using a very light pressed powder and I'm pushing that under my eyes just to give me a bright under eye effect. You do not have to do this. You can definitely skip this step. It's completely unnecessary. Like I said, I'm extra, so yeah, this is what I like to do. So I'm going in with my powder blush to also push that where I applied blush earlier, just to give the cream blush a little bit of an oomph. I'm using the Dior Backstage Rosy Glow blush, and as you can see, it complements the cream blush very, very well. So I really love how it turned out on my skin. It looks so good. So the next step for me is to go ahead and, you know, make sure that all the powder on my face is pushed in very well. That's the last step before I go ahead and set with my Morphe Continuous Setting Spray, just to melt all the powders into my skin. As you can see, everything looks so good. I'm going into my lips, just lining them with a dark brown lip liner, and I'm gonna go in with a soft brown liquid lipstick just to soften the harshness of the lip liner so that my lip gloss can blend in flawlessly. I'll be using the Fenty Beauty Stunner lip paint in the shade Unveil, and this lip liner is from Locs Beauty Co. of Instagram. This pink lip gloss is from Locs Beauty Co, but unfortunately I have forgotten the name of it. It's so good. I feel like it complemented this look so well. Final step is to go in with some highlighter from Fenty. This is the Fenty Diamond Bomb, and I am just putting that on the high points of my cheekbones, brow area, tear duct area, and it just brought everything together. My mom decided to come in whilst I was filming. She wanted to use a perfume that I had her obsessed with. So yeah, that's my mom right there. And this is the end of the video. I hope you guys enjoyed it so much. I enjoyed filming this, and if you want to see the eye look, I would link it down below for you guys. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I'll see you guys in my next one. Do not forget to like this video, subscribe to my channel. Bye guys.